All right, here we go, people. Don't write
It's time
comments.
to get a bit controversial. I don't think you should write comments in your code pretty much most of the time.
Yeah, I'm already in agreement. Actually, I completely agree. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I look at my old code, when I threw in a bunch of comments, okay, first off, one of my biggest problem with comments is that I often say what the code is doing, and that's wrong. If you say what the code is doing, then I feel like you're wrong. But if you describe why it is so strange the way it is, or what led to it, I feel like it's better. You're wrong, called it? Absolutely, called it. Also, funny comments and just random swear words always are a win.
Here we have some code where we expect the value.
First off, it's Python. Okay, maybe that's your first problem. What do you got, octothorpes for comments? Octothorpes for comments? Who does octothorpes? Okay, nobody. That's whom. Okay, that's whom.
To be 5. Looking at this code, it's not obvious what 5 signals. We could add a comment explaining what 5 is, but even better, we can create a constant representing the variable instead. The if statement now reads like a comment that we want.
I agree. Typically, this looks a lot nicer than the other one. Real talk, though. Real talk. This is, you know, I don't know what Code Aesthetics. I don't know if he's released a new video recently, but he is by far one of my favorite YouTubers. Okay.
Status to be message sent. If your code is complex enough that it warrants a comment, you should instead see if you can simplify or refactor the code to make it better instead. Right now, this condition is complex enough.
You can update the message if the current user is the author of the message and the message was delivered less than 5 minutes ago, or if the current user is the administrator, and you can also edit the message if the message wasn't delivered yet. I mean, first off, right off the rip, when I see people doing math, if you're doing math in an if statement, you've already done, like, for the most part, you've done something wrong. Like, there's some times, you know, like, I can think of some really reasonable times that you want to do a little bit of math, okay? Just a little bit of math. I can give you a really good example, okay? Here, I'll give you a really quick example. This is Zig, by the way. By the way, I program in Zig these days. Let's just say we have 2 values, right? We'll call this one, I don't know, how about C? And this one will be, say, I don't know, how about 77? And then D, and we'll make this one 69. And so if you wanted to do just a little bit of math, right? So like C minus 8 equals D, totally reasonable. To me, that's kind of what you want to see. You know what I mean? Like this seems like a really great, like this, that's fine. That level of math, really nice. Any more than that, I'm not really into it. You know what I mean? I ain't into it. Okay?
That we add a comment explaining it. But we can simplify this by using variables to name parts of the expression.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now the condition reads like the comment does. So the comment is basically redundant and can be removed.
Yep. You should, again, never comment code. Never have a comment that says what your code does. If your code is so confusing, you need to write a comment as to what it's doing. This is the solution.
When conditions are complex enough like this, you can also consider moving the whole condition to its own function. Now you don't need to decipher at all. Types can also make comments redundant. In C++, there's no built-in memory management. You often have a function like this, where you get back a thing, but we need to make clear who will take ownership of the thing. Ownership meaning the responsibility to release the memory after.
I'm exceptionally upset right now that this type starts with a lowercase. Okay? Is anyone else here upset right now? Am I just overreacting? I don't like it. I don't like it. First off, this has heavy C vibes, not C++. And it's oddly not centered. Code Aesthetics, I know you for centering things and making things aesthetic. But right now, this doesn't feel very centered.
Everyone is done with it. In older C++, you pretty much had to rely on comments to do this.
Yeah.
If you were given ownership of an object, you'd find out by reading the comments of the function. But C++ added a new type called unique pointer.
Yeah.
The type represents a unique reference to the object. So if you get one, congratulations, it's now your responsibility.
It's not even really your responsibility at that point. All you have to do is just not have it anymore, right? That's the beautiful part about the unique pointer. The unique pointer is C++ answer to the borrow checker, effectively. Yeah. That's pretty much it. It's very simple.
The type tells you explicitly that you now own it, without the need for a comment. And even better, the type makes it so you get a compile error if you do bad things with it. A comment doesn't do that.
Comment of.
Likewise,
Can we all agree that a comment can do this if you're using Tom's software? Tom's a genius, okay? Tom is a genius, and Jay Diesel is the future. Comments are also executable.
if we have a function that returns an int, but that int is
Tom's a
optional,
genius.
we could add a comment saying that -1
The
means we're not
virtuoso
actually
is
returning
himself,
a
yeah.
value.
Yeah.
But even better, we could use a type. If we return an optional int instead, it's now obvious that we might not give a value.
Obviously, Sentinel values were always a mistake, but optional values, I'm not sure when optionals hit the scene. I'm not sure when this became a thing, but optionals were amazing, right? I've been very happy going down this optional road. But the thing is I don't know when the concept of an optional came into being. I know you're saying C++ 11, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about optionals. Like, is it from, when did this actually happen? You know what I mean?
We can't miss the comment and not realize that we might get an invalid timestamp back. The user needs to handle a missing value,
Yeah, the
or
maybe
they'll
type.
get a compiler error. You might wonder, why don't we just make our code high quality and add comments anyways? Isn't more comments just better?
No.
That ignores the problems with comments. Comments get bugs like code. When people make changes to code, they often don't update the comments to match. But unlike comments,
You can't see it 8 characters or less. This one says 10 characters or less.
we have tools to stop bugs from entering code. We have tests, compiler checks, and linting. We don't have any system like that for comments. Maybe one
Oh, dear sweetness. Did someone just hear the greatest and latest AI startup? Did someone just hear the latest and greatest AI startup?
compiler checks and linting. We don't have any system like that for comments. Maybe one day we can have some static analysis tool that uses AI to determine if the code matches the comments and flag any discrepancies. There's your start.
Wait, hold on. Is he actually literally saying my joke right now?
The comments and flag any discrepancies. There's your startup idea. But
This is stupid. This is stupid. Okay, hey, I didn't plan that. I didn't plan. Tom's a genius, okay? I can't even help it.
because of this, I don't trust the comments, even when they exist. Comments can lie,
Try Marty
but
Washington.
code cannot.
No!
So when trying to understand what a piece of code does, I read the code. I never read the comments. Maybe
I just have the mind of a business analyst genius, okay? That's right. The mean streets of the Silicon Valley hit me hard, okay? When I see something, I go, boom, that's a startup right there. Hey, what is that? Out-of-date comments? AI startup. Hey, what's that over there? Lack of comments? AI startup, right? Like, I'm ready. I'm in. I'm ready.
it's just me. Do you guys find yourself reading comments to understand code?
Never, literally never.
What I do read is code documentation. Code documentation describes the high-level architecture and public APIs of a system. Code documentation differs from comments, where comments describe the internals of how your code works. Documentation describes how you use the code. The world needs more high-quality documentation. And while we could write the documentation for our code completely separated from our code, it makes sense to keep our documentation as close to the code as possible in order to try to help them stay in sync.
Imagine writing HTML in your comments. I don't know about that. Something about that makes me really upset. Markdown for life. HTML, not cool. I don't like HTML. Okay, as a 20-year veteran of HTML, I don't like it. Second off, there's something about this that's really bothering me. It looks like none of the LIs have been stopped here. Are you seeing that, or is that just me? Like, I don't see anywhere in here where, like, I don't see any LI closing tags anywhere in here. Is it just me? This is even valid. See, that's why I'm a 20-year seasoned veteran HTML programmer. Okay, 20-year seasons.
Think. Tools like Doxygen, PyDoc, and JavaDoc generate documents directly from code files, and therefore change alongside our code. It's useful to document what a class or API represents. And
Hold on. Sorry, chat. Sorry. You're talking about XHTML. Hey, have you heard of my friend HTMX? Okay. Oh! All right, that guy. That's who we talking about, okay? That's the real one. HTMX.
any expectations for interface definitions like thread safety, possible states or air conditions. This helps the consumers of the API know how to use it, and also helps any new implementers of the interface know how they're supposed to operate and behave. The guidance I've given about comments still applies for documentation. If we write better APIs, our documentation will be more concise and less prone to errors. But I concede that you'll never be able to make all of the parts of the system obvious with pure code. I do think there's a few cases where you should consider comments.
All right, what are these?
The
Because
code
I strongly almost never want comments.
is something non-obvious for performance reasons. A comment can help explain why the code looks weird. If the code
Okay, this is a fair case. But I will say that if this was tested in a micro benchmark, it almost is exclusively incorrect. Micro benchmarks are liars. And there is gosh, I'm dividing by zero right now. There is no less liar than JavaScript micro benchmarks. When anyone shows you a JavaScript micro benchmark, I want you to know that they're lying to you, okay?
code is utilizing a specific mathematical principle or an algorithm from a particular source, you might consider linking to the source to help future maintainers. There's this comic called Commit Strip.
I just feel like did it just get like empty in here for a second? All right, hold on, let's go back for a second. Something felt like did you feel that?
The code is utilizing a specific mathematical principle or an algorithm from a particular source, you might consider linking to the source to help future maintainers. There's this
That is just so abrupt. Are you a cop? I'm not a cop. I'm a businessman with the business plan. I'm going to make you money in business land. Definitely not a cop. All right.
comic called Commit Strip. And one of the comics is about a guy telling a developer that one day we won't need code in the future because you'll be able to simply write a spec and the program will just write itself. The developer sarcastically retorts that code is just a more precise way of writing a spec.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's wrong, and AI is coming for all our jobs, and we should be afraid of the impending social political turmoil that comes when our best tool for distributing wealth, the job, disappears. But alas, it still helps my point. Code is a much better way to
Based. Okay. Based.
express intent than comments about code. So in general, if you feel like you need human language to describe your code, see if you could make your code more human.
Hey, go to
What
his
other
Patreon.
cases do you think comments are needed?
Patreon.com. Code Aesthetics. Go there. Donate to this guy, okay? Donate to him right now.